Today we'll be talking about printable tabs, tabs adjustments, 60 FPS videos, and the future of the channel. Now, this video ended up being way longer than I thought, so let's cut into the chase. Printable tabs. From time to time I get asked about, can you give me this tab or something similar, and the problem is copyright. So hear me out. It's not really a matter of choice. I can't simply distribute the tabs that I've made. I can't even sell them on my own. Yeah, you heard it right. Even though I was the one to transcribe said music, I can't simply own the tab because of copyright issues. It is simply against the law. Oh, but some people do it. Yeah, some people do it, but there will always be a risk involved. Think of it like piracy. When you download a movie for yourself, you watch it and you're done for. Nothing's gonna happen, right? Now start distributing it, making money out of it, making a business out of it. And we all know it's just a matter of time till you're into some serious trouble. And again, it doesn't matter if I'm the one who did the hard work to transcribe the music, because I can't simply own the rights of the tab. I wish I could. But anyway, since my end goal is to make a live out of this channel, yeah, it's only in the beginning, but I can't start doing the wrong moves if I plan to make a career out of it. But there is a light at the end of this tunnel. At least for you guys, not really for me. Let me explain. Like I said, I can't sell them on my own. But what I can do is sell them through some companies, some websites which have all the copyright agreements needed for such a thing. The only problem is their cut of the share for doing so. It's so goddamn high. If I do sell an arrangement on my own, something which does not infringe any copyright, they do take 50% of the earnings. And now it's quiz time. If they take half the share on something without copyright, how much would you think they take on something with copyright involvement? Be my guest, take a wild guess. If you thought 100% and you're so together, you were wrong. Because the answer is 90%. But hey, it's almost there, right? Yeah, they do take 90%. Jesus, just wow. It's that bad. Now, the standard price for these tabs are about $6, so I'm basically getting 60 cents out of it. But I'll do it. Of course, not for the money, because it's just laughable. But I'll do it to help those of you who really want to have the complete tab in hand for a better study out of the music you're practicing. Just give me some time though, because I have to revise these tabs and also format them to look clean and organized, and that takes some time, believe me. But I'll be uploading them one by one, starting by the older videos, and once they're all finished, I'll communicate you through the community tab of the channel. Links will be into the description of said videos, fairly easy to find. There's one sad thing to say though, not all music or bands have these agreements, so it's not like I can sell any tab I want through them. Yes, it is indeed a majority, thank God, but some do stay out of the game, normally those smaller bands or songs which aren't well known. So, of the videos I made so far, these are the ones I won't be able to sell. To tell you the truth, I thought there would be more songs left out. The only surprise I've had is Infected by Bad Religion. I wasn't expecting that one not making it, especially due to the fact that I've checked and there are tons of Bad Religion songs available to transcribe and sell. Weird, huh? There's one upside about printable tabs which I forgot to mention, is the fact that I can update, and unlike the videos where it's basically what's done is done, so if I need to change something. Tabs adjustments. Over the time I've done some adjustments here and there to make the tab clearer and better to read. The best example of it was removing the BPM information and tuning at the start of the tab and showing it on top of the video description instead. Why that? Because there are some music that is simply showing these things will mess the format of the tab and make it bigger unnecessarily. I'll show you an example. As you can see, when I add the BPM info on this music, for instance, the tab simply stretch up because it needs the space to show this info right on the beginning. Now, the worst part is that for the rest of the tab is just empty and wasted space because there's nothing to show up there, see? So I decided to just remove it. This way there's less wasted space and I can zoom in the tab a little more for better reading of it on the video. The tuning info suffers of the same thing actually. This one's not as common, but it does happen eventually. So for consistency's sake, I just decided to also keep it out and show them all together on the video description. Another thing I've decided to remove is some music symbols like signal and coda, because they suffer the same problem. They always stretch up the tab just like the BPM. Now, signal and coda are great symbols, especially on a paper tab, because it not only makes the tab smaller, concise, but it's also a great simple indicator that the parts it asks you to repeat are 100% the same thing without any minor adjustment in playing. It's great for the eyes, but what about on video screen? Yeah, it still bears this benefit, but it is more confusing because you're not simply looking into the tab as a whole as you would do on paper. So some parts jumping back and forth on video may be a little disorientating, as you can't really preview where it's going to land as you would do on paper. So because of that, and adding to the fact that it does stretch up the tab, which is something that I hate, I've decided to keep these symbols out too, all for the best. 60 FPS videos. Up to now, every video that I've recorded was at 30 FPS, so as of to this date, I can say Join Me in Death by Hin is the last 30 FPS video regarding the guitar tab playthrough videos. All the guitar tabs video from now on will be recorded at 60 FPS. Let me talk briefly about FPS, as there are some people which may be clueless about it. Then I'll come around as to why I've came to this decision. So, in a nutshell, FPS, frames per second, basically determines how fluid the motion of a video will be. The more frames we have, more fluid these motions will be, especially when talking about motion blur. So, the more FPS we have, the less motion blur we have. And at first glance, we would think the more the better, but that's not entirely true. Because in the real world, our eyes do see an amount of motion blur naturally. So it's more about to emulate the same amount of motion blur on the video, so it does look natural and real. If we have almost no motion blur on video, it does look unnatural, it's a little strange, it's kind of fake to some degree. Anyway, when we choose to record a video, we can choose between 24, 30, 48 or 60 FPS. Which is basically 24 and 30 FPS, or their doubles. 24 FPS is known for movie shooting, but first I think it's useful to say that 24 FPS, historically talking, first came up because the movie industry back then was like, hey, what is the least amount of FPS we can shoot at without compromising the movie so we can cut expenses? Yeah, because of the film rolls back then, the less frame you had to deal with, the cheaper it was to produce the content. Anyway, so that's how 24 FPS came to be in a nutshell. I do like to say that because many people out there do think that for a video to be the most cinematic as possible, they should simply shoot at 24 frames and not 30 frames, for instance. I won't get in details here, you can research it if you want to, but simply put, there's so much work behind when it comes to make a video look cinematic than simply choosing 24 frames and pressing the record button. Now let's get back to the guitar tab videos, which is what I have to deal with. From what I've tested so far, in no way I would choose 24 frames instead of 30. Now, just like I said, simply choosing 24 frames instead of 30 wouldn't make my guitar playing more cinematic. And aside from that, there are technical issues. Now, that's really a problem. The more motion you put into your play, especially with guitar solos where fast movements are frequent, the more choppy the video comes to be. Depending on the movements, you can even see some freezing motion going on. It's terrible. Now, think with me. I do have these problems from time to time with 30 frames. I can't even think the nightmare would look like on 24 frames. For me, 24 is just a no-go for this kind of video. But anyway, I was recording 30 frames up to now, which has a natural amount of motion blur. So why have I decided to move away from 30 FPS and welcome 60 FPS from now on? Yeah, 60 FPS do look fake and strange in lots of videos, but it really depends on what you're shooting. I do think it looks nice on a static guitar playing, where the only things moving around are my hands. It's way better to see the fluidity in these movements and no choppiness at all, which I think is very welcome on this kind of video. Not only that, but there are some other benefits to state. At 60 FPS, the guitar tab which I display will also roll with more fluidity. What else? In case you do slow down the video by 50%, for example, to better learn some part, that 50% speed will be shown at 30 frames, which is amazing against 15 frames only, which looks like crap, but that's what you get when you're playing a 30 FPS video at half speed. Aside from all that, I do have a theory that 60 FPS for this kind of guitar videos will also be future-proof. I do tend to think it will be more and more common to see guitar videos at 60 FPS from now on. Of course, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, it works great for these videos and people will more and more get used to see it as 60 FPS eventually. And if that does happen indeed, in the near future, 30 FPS guitar video may look bad, because when you get used to see 60 FPS and then you play a 30 FPS video right after it, it looks really choppy. Anyway, back in the past I had no choice because I was recording with my phone, and while it does have 60 FPS, it would only allow full HD on it, so it was kind of pick your poison, and I chose to go with 4K 30 FPS. But now that I own a good camera and I'm not recording with my phone anymore, I can choose to simply record at 4K 60 FPS. Anyway, I would like to show you an example of 30 FPS versus 60 FPS with a guitar tab kind of video that I make, so it just speaks for itself. Future of the channel. Okay, this is the last topic and it's a short one. I do need to say that I plan on releasing other kinds of content to the channel, be it my own version of a song, original music material, a guitar class, singing some songs, acoustic, and so on. I do love transcribing music like I've been doing so far, and I do not pretend to stop doing that. It's just that it's getting kind of massive for me only doing that and nothing else, you know? It's only a heads up in case you'd be surprised in seeing these other kinds of content arrive to the channel, and maybe ask yourself if I was quitting doing tabs or something, which I'm not, I assure you. Anyway, if you have any questions, suggestions, criticism, whatever, please leave it below in the comments. I'll gladly reply. Thanks a ton for the few of you who've made it to the end of this video. And as a bonus, I'd like to give you a tip. When you're watching any of the guitar tab videos, if you have any doubt, any question, please don't hesitate to ask. I will respond to you and try my best to solve your doubt. These are the perks of a small channel. It's simply one overload with comments, so it's really easy to respond for now. And if you ask me, I do prefer a small and closer community than a big and unconnected one. But I do have to make this channel grow, so I can't say for how long it'll be easy to simply respond every question that pops up. Anyway, so that's it for today. Thanks once again, and see you on the next video.